Okay, we have started recording. Welcome to the new episode. Anushka, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, you can continue your story.
No context.
No context. We were just catching up because it's been quite a while since we recorded our last episode. I have a haircut.
Yes,
Uh,
I noticed it.
Anushka,
Yes.
yeah, and then Anushka's traveled all across Europe and is sort of tired
I'm
and
generally
exhausted.
a bad person.
So we honestly don't know what this episode is going to be about. I think this is going to be a very low energy episode. So yeah.
Why do you have low energy? And Mahesh went to India and came back.
I did go to
You s-
India and come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of travel stories, uh, travel pondering, and etc. So
Oh,
much
do you want
happens
to
in traveling.
do update like quick like I give one update, you give one like the slash thing.
Okay,
You
okay, we can do that. I don't
and
know where to begin. So my first day update is that I got a haircut. So
then
I passed it on to you.
I need to get a haircut. I can like I'm like Shaggy the dog. Like at this point I
Yes,
can't
yes,
see.
it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, but I'm scared of doing that. So because I did it during the lockdown, but right now it's like I'm just scared that if I do it not well, it will be uneven and then it'll look weird. So
Just
I
just
will
just
do
go
it
to a parlor.
carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now it could be Salman Khan from Tere Naam. Uh, so we will see how it goes. That's my update. Go Mahesh.
Oh no, that's too. What? This is too sudden. Okay, let me rewind back. This is,
You don't have to like we'll go into stories more, but give like
hmm.
random things.
Okay, I'll give random, minor updates that have happened. Okay, I went to India. I guess that is an update. I was there only for 10 days. So it was a short trip, but it was a very good trip. So went to India and came back. More stories to come. Just like the footnotes.
Okay. Um, I saw Taylor Swift. That's my update.
Yes, I saw all the stories. Okay.
No,
Next update. What do I do coming back from India? Is there any major update that I need to give? Let me think. I guess another update, which is sort of minor, is I mean, it's not minor, but I don't know how to sort of explain it because it was not necessarily an event. But another update is that I actually feel a little happier in like just in general. Like I don't know. I guess that's an update.
that's a really nice update to have.
That
I
I'm just
am
like, oh yeah,
happy.
I actually feel like happy about myself. That's just like an update.
Oh, that's very good to hear.
Imagine like these are like what adulting updates are. Like, bro, I'm happy. What crazy now?
I have been actually much happier also. And like I am tired, but I am happier and I've realized I just don't spend too much energy talking to people who drain my energy. Like I
Hmm.
just don't it's just
Simple.
been nicer and peaceful.
Hmm.
I just put my like keep my head down and have been doing my own stuff. And it's been
Hmm.
really nice. Who would
I
have
guess
thought?
that's really good. Both of us have had we have like very happy updates and we're like generally happy and excited in life. Let's go. Summer is here. I definitely don't blame it on the season. Also, I'm sure that it has to. I mean, it has to play some part.
It does. The sun coming up does help.
Yeah, the sun being there for so long and it being sunny outside does play some part into it. I just don't know how much.
Yeah, oh, another update. I saw when Chai met Toast yesterday. It's
Oh
just so
yeah, you were traveling for that show.
right.
I remember when they announced their dates. I think they were performing in a few places here as well. But I didn't book it on time. I couldn't get to go. Oh, speaking of concert, I saw Pratik had live here. Yes. So a lot of
Did we talk about
concerts,
this?
a lot of
Do we
music
have
shows.
this is new. Did you post about it? Did we
I
talk about
posted about it and I was texting you about it. I remember we had a
Yes, yes,
conversation about
yes, we
Pratik
did.
Guhad.
It's like I
Yeah.
have some memory of some video.
Yes.
I just don't
Yes. Yes.
remember.
You sent me a video of him and a show
Oh
of his
yes,
that you attended back in like
yes,
2016 or something.
yes. He was
And then you
so
were like, oh,
shy.
yeah,
Yeah,
look at him. Like, he's like one cute shy boy here performing out here in Pune. And now he's performing for like hundreds and thousands of people in San
two
Francisco.
hundred, 200 rupee ticket. And
200
that
rupee
wasn't
ticket.
also his ticket. It was the high spirits entry cost.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. Even I went with my roommate and my girlfriend, and I was showing it to them, and I was telling, "Hey, look, Anushka was talking about Pratik Kuhad. This is him performing live in 2016. Now we're going to watch him. Isn't that insane, artist?"
He was so shy. He wouldn't even make eye contact. Like he didn't want he it felt like he just wanted to perform and leave. Just get out of here. He did not want.
Honestly, it's the same even now because he's not really a performer. He sort of came on stage, he just sat down and he started playing his song.
Yeah.
And in between every few of the songs, he would say something and he'd be like, "Hey guys, are you having fun?" Or he would say some story about what the song is about. And then he would just sing. And then when the show ended, he just got up and left. That's it.
Which is still better than Lifafa. I remember I attended Lifafa, so he plays it and he leaves. You
Leave.
don't know when he's left. Like people are dancing, I was like, this guy is left. Like he walked out
Yep.
of the door.
He does not care. Yes. It's
And
the
like the
same with
music's still
Peter Cat
going.
also. It's the same with Peter Cat also. When I attended their show, they just walked in, they played, okay, over. That's it. And then everyone started shouting, "One more song, one more song, one more song." And then they came out after a few minutes because no one was leaving the place. They played one final song and they were like, "Okay, bye." And then they just left.
But this guy, I remember like in Pune when I went for Lifafa, he played and he left while the music was playing. Like it was playing, people didn't, and it was all foggy and stuff, so people didn't realize he had left. But when it ended, he wasn't there. It was like a magic show. This guy disappeared. So
Yeah.
I think we
I don't
moved.
know if that his, uh, he's not also like a very social media sort of person because he never does interviews. He isn't. None of them are really active on social media much.
That's what I
Uh,
was like thinking about yesterday. None of these artists are very active on social media. And
yeah.
imagine
So
if they were. Like, imagine if someone was doing social media for them, they
yeah,
would be so big by now.
yeah, dude, easily, and they would make a lot more sales and maybe like market themselves more. But they're also the artists, especially I know Suryakant is very much into his craft, so
Yeah,
he
that's the thing. They do everything I think internally still. Like
hmm,
they don't need to. And maybe they think that it's a lot of money investment or something, or maybe it's not like representing them in a way, but it can be representing them and it can be not too expensive and all of
hmm,
it could work well together. Because with When Chai Met Toast, again they don't do much marketing or social media at all, and half of the room was empty, which was sort of
hmm,
sad because uh, I feel like they deserve better. And there are
hmm,
a lot of Malayali people here, and their
right,
main
right,
main crowd is Malayali people, so there are
hmm,
so many. They could
hmm,
tap into like a much bigger market.
right. Uh, Mostly, I guess it just depends on the the artist and what kind of work they want to put out. If you're the sort of artist who is very much gung ho about your own vision, I think you'd like to do everything sort of by yourself. Even the music videos that Peter Cat makes, they don't make a lot, but everything that they do make is sort of
Is
conceptualized and done by them because it's
Yeah.
their vision, right? And even with their social media posts, anything they put out is also very much like it's in their style. And maybe having social media managers or anyone Maybe either they haven't found someone who can do it in the way they would want to, or maybe they're like, hey, we want to do it by ourselves. We just don't have the time, so they do whatever they can. Uh,
But that's surprising, right? Because all of these artists are managed by someone. So they
True.
aren't completely like doing everything by themselves. They get
Hmm,
booked and all of this, the tour, someone else is planning it. So when you have a team, the team also needs to look
hmm,
at social media and other spaces.
hmm,
Like, for example, with like when I'm giving that their example because I went for their show yesterday and they had a merch uh
hmm,
like section and it just had t-shirts. I
hmm,
remember there was a time where they would have posters as well, and they no longer
hmm,
have posters, and t-shirts are really expensive. So you need to
hmm,
have like if you are thinking of merch, you need to
hmm.
have different price sections too.
Right, right. Hmm,
Like so at least someone who can't even afford something can maybe take a
hmm,
sticker and have
hmm.
something that I would have in my room and remember it by.
Right, right. Have
So you
something. Yes, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it can be just something very small, and
Hmm,
stickers or postcards or posters are so easy to carry compared to
hmm.
t-shirts. It's
Yes.
easier, it's more accessible than
Even
uh,
hats. Hats are great too.
yeah, it's just like you just need to think about all of those aspects that yes, t-shirts do sell, but
Hmm,
t-shirts there were people who obviously weren't buying t-shirts because they saw the price and they're like it's expensive. I didn't buy
hmm,
one either because I wanted a
hmm.
poster or a postcard. That's something I can put on my wall. T-shirt I'm not
Yes,
going to wear every
yes.
day all the time.
Hmm,
So I I just feel like there are you need to have different price ranges for it because
hmm,
even Taylor Swift does that. Like most of her merch
hmm,
is really expensive, but there is then
hmm.
poster or maybe a tote bag because
Right.
have the t-shirt that they have is Yellow Paper Daisy, the song that they did.
Hmm, hmm,
It's
hmm. The
it's
newest
that
famous
good.
song.
Yeah. So you can have a really nice tote bag for it. Europe tote bag market is huge. Like
Hmm,
everyone uses tote bags. So it's just you need to have a team that looks into things and knows
right.
what like people in this market would buy.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Sometimes I
And
feel like
honestly, even having smaller things where, even if it's just a pamphlet about the show, is great because so many of the so far shows that I've attended or any other like live shows that I've attended, even if there's like a simple pamphlet, hey, we're the band, these are our albums, or like this is where you can find us. Even just like a small token, right? Having that is good enough for people to go, okay, I want to keep this or like buy a small little sticker or anything. Because there have been other shows where uh, they had hats. So I bought a hat. It was cheaper than a t-shirt. I didn't want the t-shirt. Uh, and the hat was enough. It was cheaper, and then I could just wear it and walk out, and I didn't have to carry it. And it's just like low investment, so people will get it. And in this last week, when I was in Bangalore,
bless you.
oh,
Bless
oh
you.
God, sorry, when I was in Bangalore, Gauri and I went to watch a play, and the tickets were all online and stuff. But when we went there, they still gave us like this pamphlet about the summary of the play, who are all the actors, everyone involved in the play. And I love those things. I love holding on to those things because I'll just keep it. It's fine. Like I can remember it at some later time. Even when I went to the Peter Cat show, they had T-shirts as well, which I did buy because I'm like I'm gonna buy it. It was a very very good T-shirt. Like, okay, I'm gonna get the T-shirt, but they also had other stuff. They had a lyric book, which is a great idea. A lyric book is fantastic. Okay, and it was made in their style. It had like it was a red color book, and it had like gold embroidery on it, in which they had written all the lyrics and stuff. It was beautiful. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting this lyric book. If not the T-shirt, definitely this.
Yeah, the lyric book was something that Ditty did the
Hmm.
opening act, and she had it. So she had a lyric book,
Oh,
and it looked really nice, and it
wait,
just
DT was
kind
opening for when Chime It Toast?
yes,
Oh, wow, lovely.
uh, it's huh. I just I feel like there's so much scope for the bands, And like all of these bands, like I've sort of grown up listening now to when Chai Met Toast. I don't remember when I started hearing them, so it's
Hmm.
been really long. And even
Hmm.
Peter Cat and all of these bands, like
It's
it's
been
been so
ages.
long. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, and there is so much scope, and I just feel like, because even like I think it's about creating an experience. It's like
Hmm.
all the small things count. Like the
Right.
bands count. The even if it's paper bands, but it still sort of counts. The tickets, the all
Hmm.
of it, like, it's like a tiny sort of experience that you're creating. And
Hmm.
here it's been feeling like it's sort of like a gig thing. They
Hmm.
perform, they do a gig, and they leave.
Yes. Yes.
It's not the whole experience. Which,
Yes.
by the way, if someone sort of like few the bigger artists like Coldplay and Taylor Swift have like obviously mastered it, because the whole
Yeah. Yeah.
thing's
Yeah. Their scale
like
is very
a
different.
different world.
Hmm.
And people want to do that, like they want to, it's sort of an escapism, because
Hmm.
you're for those 3.5 hours you're dressed up differently, you're
Hmm.
all sparkly, and you're in that bubble, and they want
Hmm.
that bubble. I think
Right.
it's always movies, books,
Hmm.
music, everything's about escaping or being in a
Yep.
different world. So
Hmm.
I I think the event organizers maybe should realize it, or if not, the
Hmm.
bands or the artist should realize it.
Right. I mean, with Taylor Swift, Coldplay, and your Imagine Dragons and whatnot, their scale is obviously different, and I think their music and their philosophy towards concerts are sort of like, oh, it's a show, right? It's a show. It's like this magnificent show that you're going to come and attend, and everyone's going to have an experience. So it's not just about the music. It's the music combined with all of these other things that it's a performance
Yeah,
with all of these guys, right? But I think when Charmito, Peter
yeah,
Cat, Le
that's true.
Papa, for a lot of these artists, I think they're still in that gig mentality because for them, maybe the music is more important. Um,
That can be it. The
and
music
it's
can be important to
right.
them,
The music is
but
important and it's the art because even with Peter Cat, right? We talk about it's less so of an audience experience and more so it's them focusing on their art form because every show that the shows that I've seen as well is they walk in, they all wear the same either black kurta or the white kurta, right? And they have a rose or something. They all wear kajal and they're wearing a bindi, right? It's there. Like this is how we perform. This is like because for them music is like an art form and they're going to like showcase it and then leave and not necessarily an audience engaging performance show in the
true.
same way Imagine Dragons and all these guys are.
No, that's true. But the thing is, that's obviously at a larger scale, and what
Hmm,
they are doing, like for Taylor Swift, I think it's a musical. It's like a theater,
hmm,
a performance thing, and I agree. Like indie artists don't need to be performers. They need to
right, right.
do their gig. But the thing is, the event organizers need to do this.
True,
The
exactly.
musicians don't need to be thinking about it. Their team
Exactly.
needs to think about it. People who are
Hmm,
managing them needs to think about this and
hmm,
suggest things to them.
hmm,
It's not the musician's responsibility. They're paying
hmm.
someone for this.
Yes,
So
and the only time maybe, sorry to cut you off, to go in.
no, I was done.
I was just saying the only time they even maybe do get to delineate this to some sort of management are in music festivals because they have
Yeah.
larger crowds and there is a sort of bigger company handling it. So you do see some band performing like more showmanship sort of performances in these NH or
True.
NH7 weekenders and whatnot, right?
True, but then it's sort of like I saw when Chai My Toast earlier this year at Lollapalooza, and the crowd was huge. Like it was a
Hmm.
lot of people. But
Hmm.
then it's sort of what music festivals like organizers don't get. They do create an experience, but
Hmm.
it becomes impersonal then. The reason you go for
Hmm.
individual gigs is to have the personal, like sort of the
Right, right.
connection that you
And yeah,
have. I did like yesterday, it felt like a connection because I could go talk to them, and it sort of really
correct.
easy,
Yes.
and
Yes.
which I noticed like Pratik Kuhar went into the entire giving like that thing to the management. So I've
Hmm.
been to Pratik Kuhar's concerts before and now, and it's like a
Hmm.
huge difference. Even in India or even here,
Hmm.
I would say it's still a little personal. In India, it's just
Hmm.
like very mainstream. It's like a main like a concert. There are like
Yeah.
VIP,
Yeah.
and then there is
Hmm.
those divisions, and once the management sort of gets involved, then there is those other things that starts to happen, like
Hmm.
like I don't know, there's this whole politics that sort of comes into play, which I
Hmm.
understand completely that musicians don't want to get into, but I feel like there can be better event managers who can keep
Right.
the personal aspect, have
Hmm.
sort of a connection, or like have spaces where it does create an experience, but in the artist's world, like keep it
Right.
personal,
Right.
but just
Hmm.
not like like yesterday there was this lady who was no, like no offense to her, but she was the one who was emceeing. So I
Hmm.
felt like I was at my society ka function because I don't want an MC like
Right. Not
like
for
it's not a
where
college
one
fest. Yeah.
one band is playing.
Yeah, it was very like you don't get it. Like when
Hmm.
I see artists work with like managers or like with event companies who don't get it, and it just
Hmm.
I don't know, it just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah. I guess in these sort of situations, depending on the artist, they are maybe subservient to these management companies because either they are not making enough money for them to sort of do all of these things by themselves and hire the people who can do it, and or maybe they just don't want to and they're like fine with it, or maybe they really do want to, and the ones that we end up at, uh, it's just not very doable for them to create the sort of show that they want to do. At least
Yeah.
one person I know in this whole indie music space who's been trying to do a lot of like her own vision and performance in her live music is Kayan, because
Oh,
she does,
yes.
it's like she does a whole choreographed dance routine and all of these things for her performances, no matter where she goes. And even in the bigger festivals, it does create a sort of personal experience and a sort of intimate setting for that, especially if she's performing solo somewhere. She definitely does it. She takes her dances and stuff wherever she goes, right? So that's great. But she's putting in that effort on her own to be able to do that, and not necessarily any other management who would support her. But like every artist, maybe it's just not possible to do it that way.
Yeah, I remember so I used to work with Insider for a bit.
Hmm.
For I also worked for like NH7 OML, and OML
Hmm.
Insider was one thing,
Right,
and
right. All of them, yeah.
yeah. So I remember one of this person I used to work with was the one, like he started his own artist management company,
Hmm.
and it became really big.
Hmm.
And I think Kayan used to be a part of it and stuff like that because they
Hmm.
used to do things together. This was
Hmm.
2019, like 2018, 2019. So way back
Hmm.
now. It's obviously a different market, but I do
Hmm.
understand that it's a very tough market to be in. Like
Right.
Kayan, right now I see she's managed by um Represent Age Management. I don't know what it is, but they manage a lot of sort of indie artists.
Hmm.
So it's I think it's a very tough space to be in. It works
Hmm.
completely on networking. You
Right.
need people to reach out to other people because you could see like Pratik Kuhar suddenly had a lot of opportunities after like there was like a huge shift where he suddenly had like opportunities abroad. He was doing
Hmm.
tours before a lot of
Hmm.
artists weren't doing tours. But then
Hmm.
with Peter Cat, I really like that. I don't know how they managed, but they managed to get into clubs that were like good with the like sort of niche clubs because they
Hmm.
performed in Rotterdam and they performed at this club which I knew about, but
Hmm.
I was like, I don't think any Indians would know about it. And
Hmm.
I was there weren't that many Indians there.
There
It was
weren't
a
that
full
many Indians.
house. It was
Yep.
packed. It was sold out. But
Hmm.
there weren't. that many Indians, and which
Yep.
was beautiful to see. It was just
Hmm.
like I know them. I've seen them in my
Yes.
country,
Yes.
and now all these Dutch people are vibing to it. It's just so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. That is the same shock I had when I went to a live show here. Because my first live show of theirs was here in Columbus, Ohio. Okay. It's in the middle of like, it's Columbus, Ohio. Okay. And I went for the show, and I was expecting like a room filled with all the Indians nearby who was going to show up for a Peter Cat show. Like, of course. But then I walk in and I'm like, I'm searching for where the other Indians are in that line and in that hall because there was nobody. Very few of us were there. And the sort of realization hit that their music is the sort of music where, like, it's not a very traditional Indian fan base sort of music, right? Like, you can listen to Enjoyment Toast or Local Train or any of these guys, they are still like rock bands, but they're a very Indianized rock band.
Yeah,
They have that the Indian classical music, like slight tune to it, and I don't know. There's something about their music does feel a little Indian. But
yeah,
for Peter Cat, the instruments and all of these things, the sound does feel Indian, but at the same time, it doesn't. You know,
no,
it's
yeah,
and especially for a foreign audience, they will love this because it's sort of jazz, but it's a
fusion
different
sort of.
kind of jazz.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like Indian music mixed with jazz. It's instruments that shouldn't go together, but they make it work. The trumpets in their music is mind blowing. Okay, so I
you
was
know,
not
yeah,
surprised that so many non-Indians also like their music and are here. And it makes sense why they can get into all these like very local clubs. Here also, they're performing with their new album now. They're touring with their new album at the
yeah,
late part of the year, right? So I'm like trying to look where to book tickets. And there are some of these venues are like I haven't ever heard of them, and then I'll try to look up what these places are, and they're like local music clubs that have been around since like the 60s, and it's like a very mom and pop shop, but owned by like some family bar and restaurant who are super into music. They curate these things. The artists don't book it; they curate it. So a lot of these places, Peter Cat has been asked to perform there, which is why they're there, which is also like just amazing to know that that
yeah.
happened.
That's the experience part, because that's like the whole vibe sort of
You're right.
changes when you're in that space and you're listening to
Hmm.
their music, and suddenly it's just a different world. Uh,
Dude.
When Chai My Toast happened in a hall, this was
Hmm.
like they didn't perform in a club. Um,
Hmm.
they weren't in Amsterdam Central. They performed in oh, I see, I see.
Yes,
I
I
saw
saw the
it.
bubble.
I was like, uh, it was just sad. I wish I wanted, it was in Amsterdam South, and it was in one
Hmm.
of those industrial areas where there was
Hmm.
like one of like the sort of a theater room.
Right. Right.
And there was just a stage, and it was just a empty space. So it was,
Hmm.
I wish they performed in a club in
Hmm.
Amsterdam Central or somewhere, because the exposure, like for Peter Cat, I'm like, I
Hmm.
can guarantee 60% of the people that did not know their music before until
Hmm.
they came there and
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
heard it live for the first time,
Right. Right.
which is just crazy because that's the whole point of during a Europe tour. Yes, you do go for your Indian artists, like Indian audience, but
Hmm.
the new audience, that because you need to grow your market, and that's why Peter
Yes.
Cat now it's sold out here for this
Hmm.
year. It's
Hmm.
like the tickets go out really quickly because
Very quickly.
the first thing someone would do is, if they listen to your music, one, they will add you either on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever,
Yep.
and follow
Yep.
you on Instagram. And
Yeah.
then they keep, like, if there is a tour happening, they will definitely
They
just go
will
book. So
definitely.
so you need to get new audience, which
Hmm.
I think a lot of these companies, management companies, don't really get.
Hmm.
They're focusing on the Indian market. Yes, that's an important demographic, but you also
Yes.
need the
But
other.
there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I agree. Even this club versus hall slash bigger venues. I prefer the smaller venues
Yeah.
because even Pratik Kuhad, it was a ginormous hall and it was filled with people, which is like great. But so there was a balcony. It was like a proper theater. Okay, it was an SF.
Yeah.
So there is like a lower area where everyone was standing, and there was a whole surrounding 270-degree balcony area where people just sitting and listening to the music. And it was nice because he was performing and it was great. But at the same time, it doesn't feel the same as being in a small little club where I am like close to you and there are maybe like 60, 70, 80, even 100 people at max, right? And that whole experience is way different than being in this sort of a setting where there are thousands of people and it is an intimate performance. It's not like your Taylor Swift or your bigger shows that are happening. It's more of an intimate scene. So I don't know. Even now, I still haven't booked my show tickets for the Peter Cat tour coming
I
up because I'm trying to decide which venue to go to.
Yeah, and the
Because all of them
pre-sales
are
are
far away.
over.
Yes.
Right? You've missed the pre-sale price. I've missed the
Yeah.
pre-sale price
Yeah.
also.
I missed it.
Then now
I
there's this
missed it.
guilt because I had the pre-sale link. I could have bought
I
pre-sale,
had
but
it
I
too.
did not
I'm a
decide.
fucking idiot. I
Yeah,
got it the second it dropped because I signed up for it. And I
yeah,
was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I just forgot about it for a week. And then I'm like,
same.
"Ah, I have to sit
And
and
then the
decide
normal sales
where to go."
started. And then you're like, now I have time so I can decide. But
Yes,
you haven't decided
you
because
have.
I
I have
haven't
not.
decided
I
either.
have not decided. I have not decided. Because for me, it's like, okay, I have to travel because the shows that are happening here are in like these really big auditoriums and venues, and I just don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to travel and go to this like tiny place, but so I'm still trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I feel in India, like for Pratikuhad, if I go for Pratikuhad in India, that
Hmm.
classism also comes now. I don't like it. Like, if you have money, you're in the front. If you, I don't. But he has been doing intimate shows. If you are in his newsletter, he's been doing
Hmm.
like tiny, tiny shows of like
Oh, that's
30,
fun.
50
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
uh, wherever he's been going. I think he did it in Delhi, Bombay, and other places. So
Hmm.
if you are subscribed to his newsletter, you can probably still, if he does shows.
If you're in India.
We have 1 minute left. Should we conclude this?
Yeah, this went from an update episode to a rant about
That's how it
talk about.
goes.
This is how it usually goes. So it's nothing new for us. But it was not a low energy episode because initially I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a low energy episode, but there was a lot of energy in this episode.
Because passion,
Passion came.
music
Yeah.
passion.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Say bye. I'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.